I do not have the capacity to absorb everything that is going on in the world. I don't think any of us do. My nervous system does not have the ability to take on all the horrific things that are happening around the world. And I'm not going to talk about that in detail today. I'm going to talk about something related, but not exactly in sync. My name is Amy Palmer. I am your GenX Big Sister. Over the weekend, our country has gone to war with another country, and it, it's just day in and day out of horrific news and situations that I feel strongly about. I just want you to know that just because I don't necessarily get into it on this channel or on any of my other platforms does not mean that, one, I don't have opinions about it or that I don't care, and two, that I'm not contributing in some way or doing something about it in whatever way that I can to contribute, because I do care and I do take action, but I cannot let it consume me 24/7. And I think that's definitely one of the downsides of the internet and one of the downsides of social media is that we're literally taking in messaging and we're taking in emotion 24/7, and we're hearing about things happening on the other side of the world. Yeah, of course, like in our own neighborhoods too, but like far away, things that we literally cannot change right this second. I recognize that I have immense privilege to not have to address it, do something about it, because I'm not necessarily living it to the extent that many other humans on this planet are. I recognize that. All what I can do, in addition to doing what I think needs to be done as a good citizen, but as a human and as a woman, what I'm trying to do here, I I am constantly on a journey to become the highest best version of myself and to keep my energy and my aura at as high of a level and as healthy of a level as I possibly can. And I'm here to help other women in similar circumstances to do the same and to continue to like multiply that. The more that we help each other, the more that we're there for each other, the more power that we have as not only as individuals, but as a group and as community. And I'm definitely looking forward to the community aspect of my live event that's coming up on Saturday. I'm really, I'm excited about the women who are signing up and meeting them virtually online, but we have we have a lot in common, and we have sort of a shared mission of designing a life that brings us joy, that brings us goodness. If we can do that and we can keep spreading it, statistically speaking, you keep multiplying. Pretty soon you've got more joy and more goodness and more kindness and more connection all around the world. And that is a way to impact the horrendous atrocities that we've been seeing and hearing about for years, for lifetimes, etc. I want to talk today about energy. I want to talk today about an energy audit, an energy assessment. And this is one small piece of what we're going to talk about on Saturday in the workshop. One of the things that I did when I started wanting to redesign my life and go in a different direction is I took stock of where I was right now, and I did that by looking at what are the important pillars in my life? What makes up what I see as my full, complete, happy, important, impactful life? What makes that up? And I worked hard to determine what those pillars are. And you could call them categories, topics, whatever, similar to what you might have seen in your life as something that's called the wheel of life. It's got like all different topics or areas of your life. And when I started teaching this and coaching women on this, I had a good friend suggest to me, because I reinvented that wheel of what, like I invented it and customized it to make it meaningful to me. And she said, well, instead of teaching your pillars, your life dimensions, why don't you encourage your clients, the people that you're in community with, why don't you encourage them to create their own? And so I'll ask you to do that. For me, I came up with 6 pillars, and they all start with the letter F. And I kind of like alliteration. I like having like the 6 F's. But for me, I was able to sort of drill it down to family, fulfillment, future, fitness, fun, and faith. Those are my life dimensions, my pillars, and I invite you to do the same for you. What are the pillars that are most meaningful, that align with your principles and your priorities, and design the pillars that fit for your life. And then when it comes time to take stock and take an assessment of where you are at any given moment, when you feel stuck, when you feel blinded, when you feel like when you when you get to the point where you just don't even know what to do, this is a great exercise to help you with that. I remember when the first time I did it and I broke down the categories, the next step is to then evaluate your energy in each of those categories. 5 being ideal, that your energy is in a wonderful, positive, impactful state, that you're feeling great about it and it's humming along and you're feeling expansive. 1 is the worst. 1 is you're completely depleted of energy in that area. You're not happy with where you are in that with that particular pillar. And I remember when I went around and did the assessment and asked myself in each area, where's my energy level in this area? Every single every single pillar was at a 0. Every single one. And I remember what that felt like. That's what contributed to like this feeling of just like hopelessness and lack of joy and not having something significant that I was looking forward to. So in that scenario, when I looked at it, because the next step after you're assessing your energy and where your energy is in each of the pillars, the next question is where do I invest my energy first? Like where do I focus in on? Where do I start? Where do I begin? What first step do I take? And for me, what I had to do at that point is I asked myself, all right, so which of these pillars will help feed me, nourish me, activate me to affect, so that then I can affect the other pillars, or I could start to feel like I'm in a better place where I can start to address the other pillars. And I remember that I I didn't want to think about fitness. Now for me, fitness meant physical fitness and emotional fitness. It's like emotional health and physical health. But I didn't want to think about my I wasn't in a place to think about my physical health again. Like I wasn't in a place to start thinking about how I'm eating and how much movement I was getting. I was at such a low. What excited me the most was thinking about the fulfillment pillar. For me, for the fulfillment piece is what am I doing to make an impact on the world? What am I doing to give back? What am I doing to feel good about life? And that translated into when I launched my podcast. I wanted to not only help myself but help other women. So I wanted to start connecting with other inspiring women and interviewing them for my podcast. And taking that action helped me. It helped ramp me up. It helped get me going. And and then the other pillar that I put attention into for me was family. And for me, family is not just the family that I was born into. That pillar consists of my chosen family. It's really connection, it's humans, it's people, it's all the relationships in my life. I knew that if I put some energy into that particular pillar, that I would get a lot of energy back. If I could reassess how I live in that pillar and how I'm interacting with those close to me, including, asking for help, including spending quality time with them, including talking more, sharing more what was going on with me, I knew that they would pour back into me. I had to be specific and selective about who, but I had to make those connections. So those were the pillars that I started with, and then over time, I felt my overall energy rise and rise and rise. I felt myself getting, closer to my better self, and could eventually start to address all of the other pillars. Now they don't stay perfect all the time. They're not rating a 5 all the time, and at any they could drop to a 3. I know that I've done these little assessments. I would check in every few months or so and see where I fell, and there were certain categories that kept coming up 3, 3, 3, and then others were coming up 4s and 5s. I didn't have any 0s or 1s at that time, which was awesome. But over time, as I saw that there were some that were sort of stuck in the middle, that was like a sign to me that, okay, you need to put some focus there. You need to shift some energy in that direction and see what happens. So I'm going to ask you to think about it. What are your pillars? What could feed you? Like if you focused your energy on one pillar, what would that be that could potentially like feed you back and affect the other pillars as well? I'm looking forward to really diving into this with those of you who will be in the virtual workshop on Saturday. You can check it out. I'm putting the link in the show, the description, the video description to join us, or you can go to permission, the number 2 pause dot today. That's the URL with all the course information. And in the meantime, think about it. What are your pillars? What are your life dimensions? What's important to you? Customize it in a way that's meaningful for you. My name is Amy Palmer. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel. Your support means the world to me. I am your Gen X Big Sister, signing out.